Hello and welcome for one final time this season to 4-0 Sunday Live. And for this weekend, you join us for 4-0 Champions Live between now and 8 o'clock tonight. Myself and this star-studded panel, as you can see, will be reviewing the week, the season, what it means to us all to be champions of League One. We, of course, do want to hear from you too tonight, and it will come as no surprise that there are well over 100 of you joining us already this evening on the panel, so welcome along to you all. Let us know how this promotion compares to Pompey promotions you've seen in the past and how you're celebrating this week as well. He was there with us to lift the trophy yesterday. I'm delighted he's back with us on the panel tonight. A very good evening to Retro Shirt Sean. How are you?
All well, mate. All well. A bit tired from the journey, but great day out.
Making his 11th 4-0 Sunday Live appearance of the season all the way from Malta. Gaza, we are the champions.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? And obviously, it's been a hell of a week catching up, with like tweets and messages, not just from the fan base that we have, but other fans as well. Looking forward to seeing Pompey, in the championship. They're looking forward, the Fratton Park. They like that atmosphere. Some teams haven't managed to get to us because obviously we've been in the lower leagues. But there's a lot of love out there for Pompey this week.
It's been nice to see former players as well sending messages and former managers and such like. It is show number 9 for Barney from Express FM. Good evening, sir. Welcome along.
Good evening, Tom. How are you?
Very well. What a week we've had. For you professionally and personally, congratulations as well.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's been a fantastic week. Started a new job, which was a promotion. Pompey have got promoted, and yesterday, after you saw me, Big Mike asked me to be his best man. So got his card up there where he invited me. So proper good week.
You missed the Monies barn.
Oh yeah, and I went and saw Money's got promoted and lift their title today as well. So
there we go. Congratulations. Yeah. And it is also show number 9 of the season for Pepe. Has it sunk in yet, my son?
It's been 9. Only just. I sort of turned off from promotion after Tuesday. I went to go down to Plymouth, but yes, coming back yesterday, making the journey up from Devon to come and watch us, and then it was a terrible performance, but we're in the championship, Tom. I never doubted us one single bit.
Good man. I don't think anyone else did as well. Good evening to everybody who joins us in the comments. Simon said, good evening all. Amazing scenes at Fratton. I'm going to get into that in a moment. I've never cared so less for a Pompey loss than yesterday. What a night Tuesday night was. Looking forward to seeing Visible comment on the Common. Joey said, evening, Tom. What a week. Tuesday night was amazing. I got quite emotional standing by the goal at the Milton End, thinking about all the ups and downs over the years. Made Tuesday more amazing. Quick Kick Quizzes has said, amazing scenes. Do we know historically how many League One winners get on in the Championship in the next season? I don't know how we got on when we first went up to the Championship. Retro, can you tell, or Gaz or Barn or maybe even Peps can maybe tell us? I don't know. Maybe that's a quiz question for another time. Ryan said, evening all, what a feeling. We are the champions. Such a big relief today. It's the first dance since last Sunday that I haven't cried. Good evening to David joining us from very hungover Penzance. Fantastic job by the boys bringing on the championship. Hello to Darryl who says, congratulations from an Ipswich fan. There's Gaz talking about the lot of love from fans coming over. KP said, I was disappointed with the result versus Wigan, but we can give the players a free pass after Tuesday's efforts. And I may have one too many. Desperados, love your vids. Keep it up. Thank you very much indeed. Hello to Graham. Much appreciated from Scott as well, who said, channel's been terrific this year. Well done, Tom and the gang. Well, Tom and the gang are going to take a moment to reminisce now because it is our last live hour of the season, which means we have a handful of awards to give out later on too, which we'll need your involvement in via the live chat tonight. So keep an eye out for that. Before we get into all the celebrations, we'll take a moment to remind ourselves of just what a season it's been.
One of the best performances I've seen from Pompey for a very long time.
I think getting promoted, I don't think there's a better football club to get promoted with.
Go Paddy! Finish! Yeah! We are top of the league!
Nothing less than Pompey deserved today. I thought we were absolutely exceptional.
That is the biggest moment of the season so far! This is Pompey's night! Come on!
I that was a performance worthy of champions.
Walk out! Come on! On his debut! He's massive! We are competition! We are competition!
Go home, sleep well, people, because it's happening.
Where's you want your statue, Owen Morrison? Campioni, campioni, ole, ole, ole. Campioni, campioni, ole, ole, ole. Oh, wow. Campioni, campioni.
Well, there you go. Wow, what a season and what a final week we've had too. Massive congratulations to both Pompey men and Pompey women, of course. A really fantastic 7 days for everyone connected and involved. There is one man that wants to say hello tonight. He hasn't been here for a couple of weeks on the show, but he's here nonetheless to say good evening to you all. Very quickly, we've got a very quiet hour. So
I just want to say good evening, chaps, and all those people out there.
Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening, Pepe Monster. There he is. Look.
There he is. How are we, Andrew?
Yeah, all good, mate. Barnable. All right,
How you
son.
doing, mate? Very good, you?
There he is. Retro. Good to see you, mate. The weekend.
Yeah, good.
And Gaz, 3,000 miles I've travelled for this.
I've said that a few times this season, but I'm unbeaten. I haven't seen Pompey lose this season, so I've got one game left, and that's Lincoln. So let's see.
Let's look forward to seeing a lot of that next season, then, mate, in the championship.
what does promotion mean to you?
Oh, to me, just everything in it. We had everywhere we've been this season, and the long journeys and all the stuff that went with it, and all. But hats off to you guys, though. You've all been very, very, very fantastic. Everyone associated with Tom, the channel, and all the good stuff that's happening. It's all about us, isn't it? It's all about the people. That's the thing, and it's all about you guys for being so supportive and helpful to Tom as well. So I really appreciate it, guys, and I think we needed it this season, didn't we? All of us had a really, really tough number of 10 years or so, haven't we? So I think we congratulate all ourselves, actually. Well done, boys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you to you for everything as well.
Well,
Much
I do my
appreciated.
best, mate.
You do your best. You do your little bit, don't you? Do your little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you've pitched in. You're going to pitch out now. So thanks for that. He's going to go over there and watch. You can also watch downstairs if you want to. You're more than welcome to. Hello to Mark, who said, "What an amazing week to be a Pompey fan. Thanks for the 4-0 team as always. Onto the championship, up the Blues." Tom, you are the best YouTuber for Pompey fans. Mark, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much indeed. Remarkable bunch of players from Graham. Absolutely. Hello to Lee Kendall. The trophy lift was amazing. Can't describe it. Loved it. With the beach balls everywhere. Lee Charles say with the beach ball and the fans telling near all the players to give us away for the season. Next season, another promotion will do great. Atmosphere. Thank you very much indeed for your comment. Barn, talk me through Tuesday night.
Tuesday night was special, wasn't it? I mean, sadly, I didn't get to go to the after party because, as I said, new job this week, and I felt I should be responsible. So I went home after the pitch invasion. But just those scenes, the last minutes, like when we were 2-2, I left my seat and went right down the front, thinking, right, I want to get like front and centre on the pitch. And then when that winner went in, it was like a mosh pit. It wasn't limbs, it was a mosh pit. It was like I was 16-year-old emo Barney again in a little mosh pit in front of, like, I don't know, Bring Me the Horizon or something. It was it was special. And the love, everyone high-fiving, hugging on the pitch, people I don't know. Having been on your channel many a time, you get people come up and start talking to you that I have to assume now, sadly, it's because of this. But equally, in those moments, everyone's just so happy, and you feel the love, and irrelevant of your political views, your background, everyone's just happy for one cause in that moment.
It's very rare that you get an alignment, isn't it? In a world that's very divided, Pompey can unite us all, which is fantastic. Alex is saying this season has been fantastic, very positive season on off the pitch. Just want to say you guys are incredible. I wanted to thank you for the great work you do. Alex, that's very much appreciated. Brad said, new to the chat, I was in tears when we won the league, and at the League 2 promotion, I was at Wembley 2019 with a checker trade. Don't have to play in that anymore, Brad. Play at Pompey. Thank you very much indeed. All about the football family from Aaron. Emotional watch. A very good evening to Wayno. Thanks for joining us, mate. From a Charlton fan, congratulations. Wish you all the best for the future. Icing on the cake was, as I've said there, pizza cup has been ditched. Thank you very much to Carlisle fan. And guess who's in, Pepe? And we're going to come back to you, actually, on that one. She's here.
No
Probably, yeah, well, no, absolutely. Of course, she's here consistently, isn't she? Yeah. Share some thoughts, Pepe. We are maybe lucky or unlucky to have not seen too much of Pompey compared to some people watching us on the channel and some of the boys in the panel tonight. But those moments don't come around too often. And what a handful of moments we've had this week.
No, absolutely. And it sort of makes everything over the last couple of years since COVID, and even before that, worthwhile. 7 years in League One, and it's been at times dark, it's been dull, it's been turgid, and it's not been pleasant. But days like Tuesday night and yesterday just make everything worthwhile. All the money spent, all the hours traveled, all the miles covered, it just makes everything worth it. And to see, well, we were down Albert Road on Tuesday night, weren't we? We were there with the players, and it's just so good to have that moment with the players, moment with all the fans, where we can all just celebrate together. It's been a long time coming for the club, and to see Sean Raggett as well, the longest serving player currently in the squad, 5 years, the last player who was bought under Jacket, he was soaking it up the most, because 5 years ago he came saying he wanted to get promoted, like everyone else in this team, saying they want to get this team back in the Championship, and every single one of them have done it. And it just makes everything so much special. And then just to see the party on Tuesday night, it was just sort of more of a relief. It's been coming. It's been, for the last weeks and months, we've been like, when can we do it? When is it going to get over the line? And we've done it. And it's just sort of that, like, pressure off the shoulders now, and we can just sort of party.
Miltos Sella could go over cliches for hours, but that Barnsley game really does epitomise Pompey all through this season. Never say die. This winning mentality is being installed in our team. Is awesome to see. Gaz, you enjoyed Tuesday night from the Pompey Bar in Malta.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we've got like an affiliated bar now called Charles Bar. He's actually run by a guy from Cosham. He's took over a bar here, and he's said put a call out to any Pompey fans. Now we've got 100 members now on the island, which is nice. So, yeah, well, I was there on Tuesday night, very loud. As you could probably see on my Instagram page, I was celebrating quite heavily. Didn't go to work on Wednesday. I worked from home, thank God, because I couldn't drive, that's for sure. But yeah, and obviously I was catching up on people's streams and obviously videos, and there was so many photographs, and yeah, it was just a really joyous occasion. And then obviously the after party, I saw certain pubs were getting full for that time of night, shall we say, and emptied of beer and liquor. But yeah, and yeah, you could see Mousinho just said to them, look, you've won it. Go and let your hair down. There was no strict regimental, we've still got to focus on Saturday, because obviously, let's face it, yesterday's game wasn't the best. It was a bit dreadful, but who cares? They had a really good time on Tuesday night. And I'm glad, obviously, that togetherness was not only on the pitch, but it's obviously off the pitch as well. And obviously, that's just, the fans are so engaged. They're so close to the players. They don't mind standing for a photograph, signing this and signing that. They're just so different this year. And it's just been a joyful week being a Pompey fan. and just preparation now because I'm flying over tomorrow for a business trip in the UK, and obviously coinciding with the Lincoln match on Saturday. So yeah, buzz in.
Visible comment said 99% of Pompey supporters have man crush for Pepe, not just his stalker. He's well happy with that. I can tell you from the private chat.
I can promise you it's not a stalker. People, don't be worried. It's my girlfriend, but it's not a stalker. It's not a stalker.
I believe it is. Yeah, I was going to say it was exciting times. Congratulations, Peps. Well done, mate.
I can hear my family going, "Ooh," downstairs.
We'll move on. Jeremy said, "What a week, Tom. Great to see that." Can you actually hear him downstairs? That's amazing. Great to see the 4-0 team yesterday. Onwards to the championship. And if you want to take a week off, Alex and I are happy to stand in. Jezza, I've got competition for the limelight, mate. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of that next season. Scott said, "I don't think I've ever seen a Pompey team in tune with the fan base." Exactly what Gaz is saying there. Massive credit to Mousinho for forging that attitude with his squad. I did see one more comment that I wanted to click on as well. Where has it gone? It's completely disappeared. I think I've already done it. Oh yeah, no, that was the one. I'm not going to repeat it, but that was probably a phrase to remember from the night. Absolutely brilliant. Retro, you enjoyed all the scenes on Tuesday night from Facebook.
I did. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but yeah, I was watching it, and I was going, part was going, I hope they don't do it tonight. I hope they don't, so I'd see it, on Saturday. But when the penalty went in, and then when the shot missed his header, my kids were asleep and they were suddenly awake, and the house was buzzing, and I was running around like an idiot. It was, it's emotional, and to have done it with so many games to spare, it was just great. And then watching it all on TV, Facebook, and watching the scenes and some of the socializing afterwards, guys go on the pitch and all of that. I thought, I'd love to be in Pompey right now.
What was the reaction of Mrs. Retro Shirt, Sean, if you don't mind me asking?
She was delighted, but initially, whenever she threw her drink everywhere, it wasn't impressive. But yeah, she was delighted.
Well. She's well outside. That's good. Good to hear. And hello if Mrs. Retro Shirt Sean's watching from home as well. But we should probably do. I suppose it matters very little, but the game itself, probably one of the worst showings of the season at Fratton Park, I thought, for 80 minutes on Tuesday night, and we'll get on to Wigan shortly, which is even worse. At that point, I was only thinking of really Leyton Orient and Blackpool this season, where we'd played worse or maybe were least deserving. And I suppose that's credit to how well we've done this season, finding a way. And we've all said it so many times. We've been so resolute, and the strength to come back from losing positions this season. I'd love to know, in a historic sense, have we ever won more points from a losing position in a game? I would be very, very shocked if we have, because I can think of 5-6 games where have been away. We've gone 1-0 down and ended up winning 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. It's just been a weird season. Every week you're like waiting for Pompey to be a Pompey and mess it up. Nearly said something else then. And then Tuesday was that was so typical of that. As Moose said in his post-match chat with the team, 85 minutes of utter garbage, and then 10 minutes of just pure Pompey 23-24 season, really. And then yesterday. Probably the only thing I was going to say about yesterday is I feel sorry for Conor Ogilvie, because he's lost his insane record. Oh, yeah, of course.
He's finally lost in a Pompey shirt for the first time in over 400 days.
Well, fun while it lasted.
Well, to be fair, though, he was subbed, so he wasn't on the pitch at the time they lost.
We were 2-0 down when he got subbed off, so...
So we can say now that he hasn't completed a 90 minutes in which Pompey have lost in over 400 days. There we go. That's a little bit of a bend of the rules, but you're welcome, Connor, if you're watching. It was a definite penalty, Retro. Probably the best penalty Colby scored this season. He absolutely whacked it, didn't he?
Oh, he did. It was, nerves of steel, that boy. Step up at that point, knowing what it meant. He did. It was total commitment. There was knew where he was going to put it, and it was cool as ice. It was lovely to see. You said it was a definite penalty. I didn't. From what I saw on the iFollow, I wasn't sure. I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I think it was generous, but I think what he did right was he made the referee have a decision to make.
Who had been dreadfully poor all night, I should say as well, the refereeing on Tuesday night.
But,
So,
you create the chances, and Bishop put it away as cool as anything, and that just set the game up. At that moment, I thought, "Oh, it's changing." You just feel it.
my dad turned to me and said, "Oh, that's because he's been terrible for us all night." I was like, "That's not quite how it works, Andrew, but maybe there's a little bit in his mind thinking about it." And then Gaza, cometh the hour, cometh the man who scored many a late goal this season.
Yeah.
Connor Shaughnessy.
Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, I've watched it a few times, and the best editing is the Titanic music. Because it's just nothing beats a Titanic music goal. That's for sure. And to be obviously 2-1 down with it was like literally the game was almost fading out, and we needed a spark or something. And then obviously we got the penalty, and I thought happy days. We're promoted obviously because we're going to go on. We're going to go into the championship. Obviously, you want to go up as champions, but then the ball in from the corner. Pack obviously the ball in and the bullet. I mean, no one talked about the goal really because it was just literally we're up. Obviously Pack was trying to get all the fans off the pitch and all that because it was like even Guy Whittingham and Andy Moore was get off the pitch, etc. It was like the moment was ruined a little bit by boos because obviously the goal had gone in and it was just so much emotion. It was literally a cauldron of emotions, wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, he comes up with them last minute headers and that one was a bullet. Absolute beautiful goal. And he's carved himself in history as well as every other player that's played for Pompey this season. And like Pack said, the team behind the team. It's the shit, everyone that gets the kit, man, that gets the the reception, everything, the fans. It's just been one hell of a season.
Over 300 of you joining us across YouTube and Facebook this evening. Welcome along to our final 4-0 Sunday live of the season and the first 4-0 Champions live of the season. It's great to have you with us. Don't forget to leave a like as well. It helps other people come and join us, which is always great. And a big hello as well. I should have said this at the start, but a big hello if you're watching us on the watch back too. Peps, I mentioned it in the video on Tuesday, but it was written in the stars, wasn't it? Almost as if the late goals Connor Shaughnessy had headed into the back of the net and scored for the period of the season were sort of teasers for what we would eventually get us over the line as champions into the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And throughout the bulk of the first half of the season, that corner coming in or a set piece in front of the Fratton end, and then you have Connor Shaughnessy heading home late on. And it was sort of summed up Pompey, really. That's the goal that made Pompey champions. It's the goal that we've sort of looked at time and time again throughout the season. That's won us so many points, won us so many games, and it just had to be fitting that it was the type of goal that won Pompey the League One title. And I don't really remember much of it. As soon as it went in, I was jumping everywhere. So it was goals that was just absolutely fabulous. And yeah, that night will live long in my memory, and I'm sure it will do with 19,000 other Pompey fans at Fratton Park that night.
Barn, full-time scenes don't come around too often like that, do they?
No, it was mental. By the time the whistle went, I was already the wrong side of the advertising board where the players are in that moment. There, I was probably the third person of three people deep. There was just lines of everyone ready to come over and get on the pitch. Stewards did a great job. To be fair, they were pretty calm, bar that one video of one going a little bit crazy in front of the Milton end, which is actually a shock because he's actually a nice bloke. He's normally stationed right where I sit, but he's had a mare in that moment. But anyway, that moment when the whistle went, everyone's literally sort of looking like they're about to start a 100-meter sprint kind of thing. Kind of on your marks, ready, whistle, right, go! It's fantastic.
I do apologise, Pepper. I clicked on the wrong clip and sort of cut you off halfway through what you were saying. There was one with sound and there was one without sound. And
you don't want me to speak, it's fine.
I said the one I was going to click on. Well, you might not want yourself to speak anymore after a couple of things that might have poked out in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, poked out. Not looking good.
Not poked out. Let's not go there. Fast forward to yesterday, and Pompey looked like a side who been celebrating all week. Retro, safe to say.
they looked a little jaded, and who can blame them? What a season. But yeah, they did look a bit tired. They looked a bit leggy, and it wasn't the Pompey that we knew. That they put a shift in, but it wasn't the levels that they'd hit the rest of the season. But you can be a champion, you can be champions, and that can happen. That's fine. And they rotated the squad through. I think, I went back, in fact, on the game thinking about it. It was just like, I don't actually remember Wigan having lots of chances. They just seemed to be a bit more clinical with the chances that they had. Actually, it was probably more of a bore draw game, really, but they got a couple of good shots.
And Gaz,
sorry, I just saw the chat.
That's okay. Don't look at the chat. Focus on the words, Retro, not the chat. Gaz, there's two ways of looking at this, and you're either thinking, how many times do these players get promoted in their careers? Let them enjoy the moment without further thought, and that's probably where I'd maybe put myself, although bipartisan, of course. Or you're either looking at it and going, unprofessional manner of performance yesterday. They should be on it to the end. Where are you on that spectrum?
Yeah, I mean, it's a grey area in it, but let's face it, they put a shift in for 40 plus games, and they've been professional throughout the season, so to have that that one bit of release the pressure, because it's a big relief, because we've been talking about the magic P word for quite a while, and we think it's going to happen, etc. But you never know, obviously, we drew at Bolton that we were there, and we're thinking, okay, we can do it on Tuesday. Obviously, if we'd have lost on Tuesday, then it would have been on to the next game, But I think it's a relief. Yeah, I mean, I have got no problem about, obviously, going out and having, a good beer and all that. But yeah, there is a professional side to me, because there are, 100 points up for grabs there, which would have been nice, for the season. But I think with the atmosphere, I think if you'd have asked every fan in that ground, were they unhappy, for the whole season? Of course they're not. It's one game, and yeah, it does blemish a little bit, because now we've lost 5 games. We were almost Fortress Fratton, but now that we've lost that one game, it's a little bit. Yeah, it tarnishes the season a little bit, but on the wider spectrum, I think it's it is what it is.
The chat's turn, the live chat's turn, but who cares? It's the last show of the season, so why not? Let your hair down, everybody. Barn, there was that understandable lack of yard or pace or quality of pass, and are you particularly, well, you won't be particularly happy with the lapse in standards, but are you surely not really too worried?
I think your family member that you interviewed before the game said, it doesn't really matter, does it? It just doesn't.
Good old Auntie Lorraine. She was loving it. Yeah, she was loving it.
I've heard Auntie Lorraine loves it. Anyway, it's... so I don't know why that was so unnecessary. It's the promotion juice. I do apologise. Brought to you by FanHub. It just didn't matter, did it? We could just enjoy the day. The players were probably hungover. You can see that difference of why it's such a thing, why professional athletes don't drink anymore, because the difference it makes, unless you're an old school like a Ray Parlour, who clearly somehow it managed to make him play better if he was drunk. It just doesn't. The players these days, they're built different. And you could see that they'd all been drinking all week. When I saw them on Thursday, when I'd been down at the club shop, they were all a few beers in then before the end of season awards. So that's probably still going to be in them by Saturday.
It's unfortunate, Retro, that we'd only lost 4 all season, 2 at home before yesterday, and that was the manner in which we'd lost the third. Not particularly impressive.
No, but it's one of those. Would you have taken, if the season had finished and you become champions, you'd been like, yeah, great, we've achieved what we want to achieve. It's the fact that there could have been something more. But on the other side of it as well, I do think Mousinho took a chance to run a few more players out yesterday as well than he would have done normally. A few changes that he probably didn't need to made it because they were leggy. I think it was just a nice bringing together. So the result aside, it was a nice show, and it was the atmosphere, it was the bonding, it was the celebration with the players. and it was that whole coming together. So personally, yeah, I was happy, delighted with the whole thing. But a win's always good.
And someone else who was delighted, Pepe, was Marlon Pack. Absolute dream, lived out for him as a Pompey boy lifting the trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all sit here and we've all imagined when we were a kid, or some people still might imagine it now, that you'd one day captain your club and win the league, and scoring a few goals in front of the Fratton end along the way. And he's just living every Pompey fan's dream, really, isn't he? He's just lifting the League One trophy, 12 years away from the Championship. He left and he's come back, and he's done what we all hoped he would do when he came back 2 years ago. And yeah, it's just perfect. And he loved the speech on Tuesday night in Drifts, about 3 of them, rudely interrupted multiple times by Joe Rafferty. But yeah, he loves it. He's one of us. And the way he celebrated on Tuesday night just sort of summed that up. I think we'd all do the same if you're a Pompey fan, celebrating with your own, really, and you get to bring the trophy home with you.
We are over halfway through now, our live show, final live show of the season. Welcome to 4-0 Champions Live. We have got some awards to give out shortly, and a little more, a special end to the show than usual, we'll say. So please do stick around for that. The poll is very shortly going to be up and running for 2 awards. The first being Game of the Season. So keep a look out for that in the live chat. But first, Gazza, how good does it feel to see that gold line at the top?
Yeah, it does. I've just been obviously looking at it as well. I mean, it's the goals. We've had so many, goals spread across the team this season. We haven't just had to rely on one person, this season, and it's just been a joy, just to watch and follow Portsmouth. And we've said it before in the past. Games in hand mean nothing. Because let's face it, social media rivalries. We've had Bolton fans on our cases. We've had Derby fans on our cases when we've drawn, and they've had games in hands. But if you don't win your games in hands, then obviously it means nothing. But yeah, it's just I mean, how many times have we been at this stage of the season? We're like, are we going to get into playoffs? We're like, we've got to rely on other teams to get us into playoffs. And there's been seasons where we're nowhere near playoffs, finishing 10th or something like that. This season has just been literally hit the ground running. As soon as the transfer window opened, all of a sudden we've got 1 in the door, 2 in the door, 3 in the door, 4 in the door. It was like, it was like the new coming had arrived. And it was just, there was just something special about August. All of a sudden there was a togetherness on the pitch and with the fans. And then it was just, it was like a momentum that we've not seen before. A little bit maybe in the Cowley beginning, because we had that. But then the problem with the Cowley was just too many draws. It was just one thing after another. And then obviously the bad result at Charlton that we were there. And then January obviously had gone. We were a little bit in limbo, didn't we? Didn't have a captain for the ship. And then Mousinho, there's a lot of people. I mean, I was sitting on the fence. I wasn't actually saying anything bad about Mousinho. I just never heard of the guy, So it was like, okay, where's this on? Where's this coming from, or etc. But Richard Hughes, he was on the same coaching course as him. Saw Mousinho, saw the way he thought about stuff, and then, okay, let's put this out. Let's try and get him into Portsmouth. And then, how many people are eating humble pie now about Mousinho? Not, who is this guy? And now he's like, ready for a statue next to Dickinson outside. It's just, it's just been a really, really fantastic season.
Shan flying in the back post there. Barn, how does it feel being League One champions in a position that Pompey will keep until at least the very end of the season? We'll always be top, and we've been top for the most part of the season too. Only a couple of weekends off it.
We get a special little gold patch for next season, do we not?
Oh, I don't know, do we? That's very exciting. We do. I know it's gold for the championship one, but no.
I'm pretty sure as champions we get some sort of special little. Oh, I could be wrong, but either way, to be able to go into the championship with that confidence. The biggest thing going through my mind right now is seeing what Ipswich are doing and just thinking of the potential of what if we could do that, if we can go up and go back to back. Like, the opportunity is there. I know there's equally as much risk and way more likelihood, of us getting relegated. Let's be honest, like, the odds will be far more weighted towards that. But nonetheless, we get to go and play against some teams that we've probably not played for decades against. We get to challenge ourselves and see what we can do in the league above. I'm really excited to see what Rich Hughes and co do, who they bring in, who they strengthen us with. There's all of the things to be excited about, and I'm sure we'll talk about it here more on 4-0 Live and Express FM on Mondays and Fridays with Jake Smith.
Do come and join us for all of that. Retro Barney, spot on. And Gaz has mentioned the transfer dealings, and Scott's approving of that as well, saying the transfer dealings spot on. Even in January when the injuries hit, more money spent on to solidify. What I was going to ask you, Retro, and I know it's a little bit off topic, but I think it's worth the conversation, is that if Pompey can be as attractive to players being sold the Mousinho, Richard Hughes dream when nothing had been achieved in the summer or in January, how much more of an attractive proposition does that become to come and play football at Fratton Park for Pompey in the Championship?
Oh, without a doubt, that pull, they've got a track record now. They've proven that their method works. I was underwhelmed, like probably Gaz was whenever Mousinho come. It wasn't a name that I knew, and what the culture of the club, and it's hard to put a finger on it, but everyone's alluded to the way that everyone's pulling in the same direction. It's the way they've all bonded. It's the way it's a team effort right the way through. Richard Hughes has played a huge part. And I remember being at Bristol and next to with you and thinking all those injuries, those draws, going, oh my God, this is it. We've been top for so long. We're going to blow it after Christmas. And then suddenly the recruitment came in, and they were backed. They backed them to the end, to the hilt, and they actually did then. Keep the momentum going, and it's only got better and better from there. And you consider that with the celebrations yesterday, the players coming through being announced, you forget how many key players were injured after that first part of the season.
Here we go then. It is time for our game of the season vote. We have a poll up running in the live chat down below. Got a moment or two to get your votes in now. I can see the numbers consistently shifting as the votes come in. So please do get that casted. We're going to come to Gaza first, I think. You've got 4 choices. I've tried to be as fair as I can. Reading away, Bolton at home, Peterborough away, and then Barnsley on Tuesday night. In terms of a game, I think Barnsley's difficult because obviously the game wasn't great, but it's the game we won it as champions and the turnaround. Peterborough for obvious reasons. Bolton was probably, other than Barnsley, the best night under the lights of the season. Yengi, the first versus second, all that kind of thing. And then Reading, the game we knew that we might have it given the character shown, Gaz. Where does your vote lie?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Reading game was good for obviously reasons. Coming back from behind, etc. But yeah, for me, it's all about the Yengi, the limbs at Peterborough. Because it was a game we thought was just fizzling out, and for me, the player that I really wanted to play well on that day was Gavin White. He'd been out the side for a long time. We watched him at Blackpool the week before, training on his own, and it's not nice when you're training on your own and you're out the squad, etc. But for him to come on and put a shift in, and then do that ball across to Yengi, and then Yengi scores it, and we just come away with 3 points. And that's the sort of team that's just literally doesn't give up, and that's why we're at where we are. That's the points where they say we've gone behind before, and so many times this season, I think it's 7 times, and we've come back from winning. We've come back to win the game. That's not the Pompey way from before. That's been drilled in this season. It's like we go a goal behind. It's like, oh, here we go. This could be 3 or 4. But it's like, okay, well, they've scored. Let them have their moment, and then we're going to go on and we're going to win 2 or 3-1. And we had that sort of mentality. But yeah, once we scored for Peterborough, because it was the dying embers of the game, it was like happy days, So yeah, for me, my vote lies with the Peterborough game.
Gaz's vote lies with Peterborough. Barn, where are we going?
I've voted for the Barnsley at home for the obvious reasons. Just the carnage, the winning the league. Bolton was pretty special as well, but my personal favourite was actually probably Barnsley away.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah. But there was just something special about that night. Something felt like the tide had turned. The way that we'd been there the season before, we were chanting old players' names because we were so terrible. It just, everything felt like something special was brewing. You and Dill had a great time. It was the way we sort of like confidently went in the lead. There was limbs of sort of confusion. Like, is this actually happening? Have we
Mm.
actually just gone 3-0 up, away from home? It's yeah, that was a special one for me.
And I remember because that package that you saw at the beginning of the video and across our social platforms, a part of it that didn't quite make the cut, but as I was watching the videos back, me and you came out, Barn, and said Pompey can hold on to a win, and that's going to be such a quality that we're going to need to demonstrate, and we did for periods of the season. Retro, what are we going for? It's tough, isn't it?
It is, but I'm gonna go for the Bolton one, just because I think it was the gritty performance. It was basically what I think was the game that ended Bolton's run. I was a bit worried about that, but after that game, I was no longer worried about them. For me, but I'd echo the other reasons: the Barnsley, the Peterborough. But that game made me more confident that we weren't going to mess it up.
So we've had 3 votes from the panel. Pepe is still to come. If Pepe now goes for Reading, that would be a split of opinion completely. I don't know if he's going to, though, Sam. What are we thinking?
No, I'd love to go for Reading because it showed us that we can come back from 2 goals behind or whatever it was. Bolton, though, I think I'm torn between Bolton at home and Peterborough away, purely because Bolton was one of the first big tests where it's at home, under the lights and on TV, and to turn up and beat the most informed team in the league at that point quite comfortably as well, 2-0, and we looked quite good. I think that was a real good performance, a gritty performance that showed the rest of the league we're Portsmouth and we're going to be up there this season. Also Peterborough for different reasons of, all right, if we can turn over Peterborough, because it was such a tough run-in, and getting them out of the way because they were on a good run of wins as well. I think I'm going to have to go for Bolton at home, purely because of how good of a performance it was, and just to show the rest of the league we're ready for the fight. But also, I think our trip up to Wigan, Tom, an honourable mention.
Yeah, that's good. That was
2-1 winner that day, and my first away win in about 8.5 years. So that was always a good day out. So other than the 4 stops to charge your car, but we won't talk about that bit.
That's all right. That's fine, mate. We don't need to talk about that. So we have a split opinion on the panel. We also have a split opinion at home. The 4th place is Reading away with 10% of your vote. 3rd place, unfortunately, Gaz, it's Peterborough away with 21%. Bolton at home, 26%. And then Barnsley at home, 43% of the vote. But I think, Retro, when all things considered, you can probably see why people went Barnsley for just such this reason.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the scenes, the celebrations, just what it means to everybody, and bonding with the players. Obviously, it was a great evening. I was gutted that I wasn't there, but you guys had a great time.
We are going to do Player of the Season as our second and final vote and award of the evening in just a moment. Before we do that, we are going to speak about a very special man who hasn't had a bad first job in management in terms of as a football manager himself. And that is this guy. Oh, went a little bit of a dance around there. Gaz. Really lovely moment when he spotted his 2 daughters and his wife on the pitch yesterday. And to see him lift the trophy after such an incredible season, pulled on the heartstrings, what a man John Mousinho is.
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier on in the stream, left field choice, first proper have a go at management, and he's got his bar quite high, shall we say. He's, I mean, I know they say we're sleeping giants. I thought at one point we were almost non-existent. Yeah, he galvanized the end of last season. He managed to get some, string some results across the board and all that. And then obviously, it's heavy recruitment. He's got some good people around him. And that's what helps. I think he's obviously a genuine guy as well, knows the game. He's very articulate, apparently, with when he was on course with Richard Hughes. And yeah, you can just tell he just loves football. And, to have the respect of the players, because that's obviously, because being a player, then just going into management, I've had it myself where I've just been promoted in a job and people look at you differently. It's like, well, you were my friend a minute ago, now you're my boss. But, you can tell that he has the utmost respect for that changing room. At no point did he lose a changing room. And it just it just went on, and the roll on just went on and on and on. The way he talks after the post match is exactly the same game that we watched. Because you see some managers come out and they'll blame the referees, they'll blame officials, they'll blame the conditions. He doesn't do any of that. He just says we were rubbish the first 25 minutes, and then we come out, we change the format of the second game, and then even if we've won a game, he's like, yeah, but we still went on it. You know, he's just an honest person, and that's what you want. You don't want any of that rubbish. And yeah, absolutely hat off to him. And I'm looking forward to, because next season is going to be a tough one. No, make no bones about it. But with the right recruitment, the right players, we're an attractive club. I'd love to be a feeder club of like a City or a Premier League club coming in and say, look after Pompey. They'll look after their players. We've had some good loans come in and they've progressed. And yeah, looking forward to next season, big time.
Bon, we've mentioned it already this evening, and Pepe actually mentioned the speeches that Marlon was trying to make on Tuesday night after the game in various different pubs and bars around Portsmouth. The release of the speech that John Mousinho made after the game on Tuesday night, a little insight perhaps into the way he so elegantly managed this team.
He really is, as I've just put in the live chat, he is our special John. Thank you. There we go. He's, as everyone's already said in many a time this season, a choice that I don't think anyone really understood. I get the point of taking a risk, but about the only thing I think people could look as a positive was that, okay, well, he's the players' chairman of the PFA, so he must talk a good game. He must be a leader, but that doesn't necessarily always translate. There's been some PFA players' chairmen before that I believe have disgraced themselves. So what an amazing hire he's proved to be. Clearly a very, very motivational guy, not emotional guy. And you could see it looked like certain players have clearly got a really tight relationship with him. The way him and Will Norris were hugging when they were stood above all the players, above the dugout, it looked like two best mates that were watching the celebrations. It didn't look like they were part of it. Little moments like that were just, they're the things that you sort of feel lucky to be there, that you might not necessarily always get to see on your iFollows and that, which, if you can be at the ground at any time, be there, because that's the moments that you hang for and hope you get to see.
Sean said Mousinho just gets it. The city, the history, the pain and the expectation. Special John, Pepe's man crush. There we go.
How have I come up in that?
I don't know.
Caught in the crossfire.
I don't know if that's 3.8 hour round trip, Jeffrey, or 38, but whatever it is. West Wales Pompey, great channel, much appreciated. Really great to see. I mean, Retro, the people who made the decision to employ John Mousinho took a risk, and don't you just love it when a risk comes off? Yeah,
I would love to have been a fly on the wall in the interview. How must have he presented himself, the plan, but not only that, but also, I've interviewed lots of people, and it's very, very hard. You've got a short snippet of time to try and make a judgment call, and somehow it all aligned, and they got a great man. And what I love about him is his accountability. He doesn't shirk anything. He doesn't shy away from anything. He is the leader. There's no doubt about it. Like Gaz says, stepping up into that role and taking the team with you, but keeping the distance so that you can direct them, but also having those moments where you are their best friend, you're their confidant or whatever. It's a skill, and he obviously has it. And how they got that in the interview, and he's galvanized that team and took them through. It's great. It's those little relationships they have now. They've got to treasure that, and that could go on. My worry is, some of the bigger clubs could see him and go, actually, they want him, but hopefully, he has the bond as well with Pompey and everything else, and he'll want to stay with us and achieve things with us.
And I suppose owes a great deal to us for taking the risk on him as well. I would feel like that sense of feeling is there, and we've seen that there is a loyalty with John Mousinho. There were a couple of clubs sniffing. I don't know whether there was anything serious during the course of the season, but we had a little bit of interest in it, and he maintained in various different presses that his full focus was Pompey. So long may that continue. Peps, we're short for time, so we're going to get on to the player of the season, the 4-0 player of the season vote. The poll has been up and running for just over 5 minutes and nearly 100 votes already. Now is the time to cast your vote if you haven't done so already, everybody. It really does need everyone to get involved to have a share and a wide spectrum of opinion. Your choices tonight are Marlon Pack, Sean Raggett, Connor Shocknessy and Will Norris. It's difficult to choose between the four of them, I would say. Where does your vote lie, sir?
I think it's a difficult one because Sean Raggett's overcome adversity twice. Really, he was Pompey's third choice centre back at the start of the season. Regan Paul went out, and then he came in to fill in for Regan Paul, and then Tom McIntyre came in for Raggett. So he's sort of been overlooked twice, Regan Paul and then Tom McIntyre. So to overcome that and then become a player like he has done, which, if we're being honest, none of us thought we'd see Sean Raggett, a ball-playing centre-back who can make runs with a ball into midfield and just looks so comfortable on the ball. So fair play to him. I'd like to give it to him, but I think it's very close between him and Marlon Pack. And for obvious reasons, it's got to be Marlon Pack this season. He's just been absolutely phenomenal. And when Pompey played well, it's usually Marlon Pack is the reason for that. So it's got to be Marlon Pack.
Gaza, talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I could echo word for word exactly what Pepe's said there. You know, obviously, you know, humble pie for myself as well. Raggett, you know, I would have said maybe last season or even the season before, get rid of him. You know, because he is a goal threat for us when he's in defence. You know, because obviously he gives a goal away if he has a howler, and that's the problem. You know, he's had howlers in the past, but this season he's been really, really phenomenal. There's no other word. He's had to deal with being third choice, and then Paul gets injured, and then he goes. You know, Tom McIntyre comes in, and he's back in, and he even at the end of the game, it looks like he's just got ice running through his veins. He's just like, you know, it's just so, you know, that stare. He's got that 100-yard stare where there's just no emotion. You know, it's like a robot, and I think that's what Raggett is. You know, but for exactly the same reasons, I would choose is Pack, purely because the general in the middle. You know, it's like, you know, he's just run things. What's that?
Sorry, Gaz. You gave Raggett the whole talk-up speech and then went, right, Marlon. That's my face going.
Yeah, I know. But that's it. It's like you're torn, aren't you? You're torn between, you know, whereas, you know, it's just he's had a good season and stuff like that. But for me, it's, you know, Packers, he's been the general for the whole team, you know, and that's why I'm going to give him the players. For me, that's my vote. You know, I'd love it to give it to everyone, but obviously we can't do that, you know, so.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a close second for Rag. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We've got 2 votes for Marlon Pack on the panel. The reasoning behind obviously I just made the decision on which 4 I was going to go for, and on YouTube, sadly, we can only have 4 because there could have been a lot more. I thought Will Norris has pulled off some match-defining saves for us and kept us in games and let us win games on a number of occasions, and is League One's keeper of the season in terms of the team of the season as well, so I didn't think that could be overlooked. Connor Shaughnessy obviously winning goal in terms of Barnsley, but also I think he's been immense and part of the what's the word, the motivation, not maybe motivation because Raggett doesn't need any motivation, but perhaps the catalyst to Raggett's improvement, perhaps playing alongside a ball playing centre back and someone who's so aerially dominant as Connor Shaughnessy. Sean Raggett for the reasons just outlined, and then obviously Marlon Pack lifting the trophy as captain of his boyhood club. Retro, Gaz is talking about humble pie. I'm expecting a little bit of that served up in your house this evening as well for Raggett.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Bambi on ice, I think I called him. He was, you know, he couldn't play the ball last season. He couldn't, you know, he cost us so many games. What a change for Raggett, you know, and unfortunately I'm going to stick with Raggett because I think he's. He reminds me of an old boy called Limboy Primus who went up and got overlooked several times and got canned to the reserves and whatever and came back. Raggett is that player, and he has shown a character that I didn't think he had at the start of the season, last season. The way he's just changed, the way he's come on, and he looks something else. He just looks, you know, a good, solid League One defender, almost Championship defender. It'll be interesting to see what happens next season. I hope he carries it forward. But, you know, if this season, for the way he's turned that around, you've got to give him it. You know, I know Marlon Pack, boyhood hero, you know, Portsmouth through his veins, everything else, but I'm going to give it to Raggett.
Dan said everyone at the club has been awesome this season on the pitch and off the pitch. Tom, amazing channel. Can't wait for more next season. Thanks very much, Dan. We're very much looking forward to bringing you Championship content next season. Right, just an update. We've got 2 votes for Marlon Pack on the stream. We've got a vote from Retro Shirt Sean for Sean Raggett. Barm, I reckon you're going to go with Retro.
Yeah, it's Raggett for me. I don't need to really say anything more on Raggett. I think everyone summed it up. He's just been fantastic. I made a sort of almost jokey comment a few lives ago saying, "Oh, if we win the league, I'm going to get Raggett on the back of my anniversary shirt," and I am going to when they get Blackies in stock in the club shop. There was one player I wanted to particularly get a signature of. I've never actually autograph hunted a Pompey player ever before. I don't think I've ever even asked a player for a signature. A couple of pictures maybe, but I made a point when I got to the ground on yesterday to go and join all the kids and fellow adults who maybe wanted to get a little bit of memorabilia signed, and was lucky enough, to get Moose and Rags to sign the shirt, and got Rags to sign the pink one as well, ready to get his name on the back of it. I think he's been fantastic to come over everything he's sort of had to face against, being frankly 4th or 5th choice, you could almost argue at points, because I wouldn't be shocked if Towler started ahead of him in Mousinho's mind at the beginning of the season because of how well Towler finished last season. Don't forget, kit launch, Towler's in it. So that says to me Towler was like the forefront of our defence, I would argue. So it's unfortunate for him. And I'm sure no one would begrudge Colby Bishop getting an honorary mention. 20 goals again for the 2nd season in a row. But it's Rags for me.
I am delighted to reveal the poll in the live chat. We've had 150 of you have contributed to that, so thank you very much indeed. Will Norris has a 6% share, Connor Shockley with 19.19%, Sean Raggett with 29%, and Marlon Pack, captain, leader, legend, with 46% share of the vote. And as we said earlier on, it is incredibly difficult to choose. And how many seasons has it been since there hasn't been one half-decent player that swept up at the awards ceremony? And we've got, so that's not belittling Colby Bishop last season, by the way. We've got so many to choose from for this player of the season vote. So we have, I believe it was Barnsley at home was our player of the season. Barnsley at home was our game of the season, player of the season, Pompey captain and boyhood Pompey fan. He went away, now he's back. He is one of our own, and his name is Marlon Pack. Right, we have a couple of minutes left to go on the stream, which means we haven't done a Lincoln preview, but we're going to get score predictions for that in the live chat down below for one final time this season on 4-0 Champions Live, 4-0 Sunday Live as it normally is, but change of branding for obvious reasons. Retro, very quick word on the expectation for Lincoln and a score prediction, please, sir.
I'm expecting a professional performance. It's going to be a hard game. You could argue we don't have a lot to play for, but I think actually the players will want to play and the celebrations will be done. I think they'll put in a good shift for the last game of the season. It's going to be a 2-0 win.
Gaza?
Well, I think it's going to be a tight game because I think Lincoln, they want to win. They don't want to lose because they're still in the playoffs, etc. It's going to be a tight game, so I'm going to go with a cheeky 2-1 Raggett header last minute.
AP said, great content pre-season and during this season. Look forward to next season, Tom. Thanks to all at Fournilwrittenalloverit. Much appreciated. Brian said, love the show as always, Tom. Just say congratulations, Portsmouth. Good luck in the championship. Hope you can join us up there, Brian. Derek has gone for a 6-0 Pompey. The legend Sean Mead is saying 0-0. We've got a 2-2 from Pompey and it Merce. Joey's doing the Desmond. A 1-0 from Ryan with Kamara to score. 4-0 from Mason. Bum?
I'm going to make your T-Lop colleague very happy. I'll be honest, I think we're going to see a repeat of yesterday. I don't want to, obviously, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see a number of changes, considering it's last game of the season. There'll be a few people that want to retain, like Will Norris will probably want to retain his league Ironman status, things like that. But I wouldn't be shocked if you see even a kid or two maybe start. So I'm going 2-1 Lincoln.
It's probably got the likes of Terry Devlin written all over it, hasn't it? For
exactly.
Definite. If he's back in, of course. I know he's back in training. Maybe he won't throw him in for a last game and risk him. Matty said 1-0 Rags to score. 4-2 written all over it from Russ. Jesse saying 3-1. 1-1 from Dan, who we're very excited to see up there. Visible comment, just but don't care. 5-2 from Rob. 2-1 Pompey. 3-1 Matt Macy should start. Lincoln will win 3-0. I'll be honest, from Thomas Cutton. What's going on there, Thomas? Pete said 4-0 all over it. Graham said to enjoy the summer. Peps, finish us off.
I'd love a Lincoln win for my bet, but 2-1 Pompey.
Sorry, you'd love a Lincoln win for your bet? What?
Yeah, I put Lincoln to finish in the playoffs. It was 16-1 2 months ago. So I've got Lincoln to finish in the playoffs and Leeds to win promotion in the championship, and it was quite a good bet. So I hope they come in. But no, Pompey hat on. I'd like us to win 2-1, and I'd like to see tears from your T-Lock colleague, Jake.
There we go. What a way to end. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I said there was going to be a very special outro, so here goes nothing. Bear with. Well, there we go. Rovers on the opening day, 4-0 in the Orient backyard. A squeaky win at Oakwell started a run of 6 without a blemish. A turnaround of some modus operandi at the Madstad. Embarrassing Blackpool reverse. 4 victories without reply or return on the run-up to Christmas, followed a mini crumble to boot. Fleetwood away, and it was all full steam ahead. The hardest run-in of any side in League One, and no losses from that point until we won it all as champions. Marlon stepped up and delivered any Pompey boy's dream, Pack and his team accrued a points tally that cannot be matched. With the last League One dance in Lincoln next weekend. Until then, thanks for watching, play at Pompey, and good night.